Good Thursday morning, everybody, and welcome to Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. Thank you, Lenny, for a great opening to the day. And today we're going to talk catchers. Third baseman's next week. We're going to talk catchers today. And we're going to start off the list with my number one catcher on my list, and that's Gary Sanchez. Now, that's going to get a little bit of resistance, I guess, because you're talking about inconsistency. Sanchez is probably the model of that, but he hit 34 bombs last year, a 232 average, drove in 77, and when I look at his splits, he hit 276 at Yankee Stadium with 19 homers. Now, he only hit 194 on the road, but he did hit 15 bombs on the road. And Sanchez, if you go back to 2018, he hit only 18 homers. In 2017, he hit, of course, 33 homers. So last year, back on track home run-wise, hitting 34, the most in his career. He's 27 years old. He's going to be on a team that's going to win 100 to 105 games. And I like Sanchez. Now, catcher, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when I get through my top 10 or 11, it's slim pickings. But I don't think that I go out early and draft a catcher. I think I wait on a catcher. Number 2 on my list was number 1 last year, and he could very well be number 1 this year, and I only didn't pick him because of the power. Okay, now he's got some power, and he also gets a few stolen bases, so whether you go with JT Realmuto or Gary Sanchez is really a flip of the coin. I only pick Sanchez because I like power-hitting catchers. I try to acknowledge that if I can get power at catcher, I don't have to have it at another position. So my number 2 catcher is 28-year-old JT Realmuto of the Philadelphia Phillies. Last year, in his first year in the city of brotherly love, Realmuto hit 275, scored 92 runs, hit 25 bombs, 83 RBIs, 9 stolen bases. His home-away splits 291 in Philadelphia, with 16 of his 25 homers coming at home. He scored almost the same amount of runs, 49 at home, 43 on the road. The interesting thing about Realmuto, he had no stolen bases at home and 9 on the road. So if he were to pick up the stolen base habit at home like he did away from home, he could easily have 15 bags. 15 bags would put Realmuto number 1 catcher, because Sanchez gets you none. But again, I like Sanchez because of the power impact and the fact that he's going to drive in a lot of runs, in my opinion, in that lineup. Now, my third-ranked catcher was not my third-ranked catcher last year, but he is this year. He just got on a new team. I think he's going to thrive in the Windy City, and I'm talking about Yasmani Grandal. Last year, Grandal hit 28 homers. He's going to hit around 250, 245, but he hit 13 at home, 15 away. I just like Grandal on this team. I think the White Sox are going to contend this year, and I really like the fact that Grandal is going to be the man, really. He's going to be looked to for leadership. He's a switch hitter. He's my number 3. Number 4, and now we start to get a little thin, but I'm going to go Wilson Contreras because I like his potential. And I know last year was a down year for Contreras. I realize that, okay? But even in a down year, he hit 272 with 24 homers and 64 RBIs. So you got to look at his age. He's 27. He hit 15 homers at home, 9 away, 291 at the friendly confines, and he hit 320 against left-handed pitching. So he is a great player to have against lefties. He is a right-handed bat. He's my 4th-ranked catcher on my board. So of these 4, and I think these are the top 4, probably consensus unless you go with a Will Smith or a Mitch Garver, who are next on my list. Sanchez, Realmuto, Grandal, and Contreras. Now, I don't go out early drafting catchers. Just don't do it. I'm not going to do it this year. I'm going to wait a while. I don't think there's a huge drop-off from 1 to 4. There could be, but down the list, I'm going to show you some sleepers in a few minutes that can really pick you up. I got Garver at number 5. And Mitch Garver, I frankly didn't know much about Mitch Garver until last year. And last year he had a bust-out kind of season. Garver hit 31 homers, 273 average. Now, he's not a full-time catcher. He only had 312 official at-bats. But in those 312, he hit 31 homers. So that's a pretty easy ratio to figure. 1 home run every 10 at-bats. If he continues that, wowie. 16 homers at home and 15 homers on the road, and even balance there. In fact, all of his numbers are fairly balanced. He steals bases. Of course, he's a catcher. 29 years of age. He's a right-handed bat. Garver, my number 5. Will Smith of the Dodgers comes in at number 6 on my list. Number 7, now this gets tough for me. I'm going to go down the list on most ratings here, and I'm going to go Omar Narvaez, who got traded, or rather signed as a free agent by Milwaukee. In 2019, he hit 22 home runs, 20 against right-handed pitching. He's a left-handed hitter. He is 27 years of age. He's going to be the starting catcher in Milwaukee, and that's why I'm going with him at number 7. To round out my top 10 on my catching board, Wilson Ramos, Salvador Perez, and Christian Vasquez. And I want to take a moment to look at Christian Vasquez for Boston, my 10th ranked catcher on my board. His numbers are a little surprising. First of all, Boston had somewhat of a split time situation, and he still managed to hit 23 homers and drive in 72 runs. He stole 4 bases, which is 4 more than Gary Sanchez is going to steal, and he hit 264. So he's going to hit for better average than, say, a Sanchez. 23 homers, not bad. And to be 10th on my list, that's why I'm saying don't go early on catchers. I think that would be a mistake. So rounding out wild card picks, just not a lot of catchers to choose from. That's why this is I told Kevin Hastings, be ready. This is a short show. Plus, I've got a class I'm taking today, and I just wanted to make sure I was with you for a few minutes this morning. Thank you for being in the chat room. But my 3 dark horse type catchers, Travis d'Arnaud for Atlanta. Now, remember d'Arnaud last year, playing for Tampa, really had a breakout year. He hit 251, not so great there, but 16 homers and 69 RBIs. He's 30 years old, and he can play some first base, and in some leagues will be first base eligible. So d'Arnaud, one of my sleeper candidates. Another one, Roberto Perez for the Cleveland Indians. Now, Perez, again, not so far off from being possibly a great number 1 catcher in fantasy, because he hit 24 homers last year. 15 against right-handers, where he hit 299. He hit 9 against lefties, and he hit 225 average against righties, 264 average against lefties, but more power from the right side. So altogether, last year he hit 24 home runs, and I could take that as a late round pick at the catcher position. I like Sean Murphy. Sean Murphy, who is 25 years old, playing for the Oakland A's. Last year, minimal at-bats. Only had, 52 at-bats. But he has a lot of potential. He's going to get the everyday at-bats, going to be the starting catcher for the Oakland A's, and he is one of my dark horse catchers. Finally, Jorge Alfaro traded over from the Phillies last year to the Marlins, and he's going to be starting. Now, the Marlin offense, not much to talk about, but Alfaro, one of the bright spots, 26 years of age, 18 home runs, 57 RBIs last year. When you look at his splits, at home he hit 288 in a pitcher's park, with 7 of his 18 home runs coming at home, 11 coming on the road. Against left-handers, now he's a right-handed batter, he hit 286. And against right-handed pitching, 254. Drove in 57 runs. Again, catcher not being a deep position, Alfaro will go late. He's going to be available, and you can do a lot worse. And let's just, take a look at it. Real Muto, I've got him at number 2, but could very easily be number 1 because he's going to put up consistent numbers. Sanchez has the better upside. Grandal, he's a streaky hitter, but he's a switch hitter and can hit 25 bombs. Contreras, also somewhat streaky, can hit around 25. Not a huge drop-off going all the way down to a Alfaro. So those are my top catchers, my top 10, and my 3 sleepers. I'm going to be with you next week, more in depth because there's more to choose from, looking at the third base, looking at the shortstop, and looking at the pitchers that are available in drafts. There are going to be some great shows next week. I've got those shows ready. So I want you to tune in for Kevin Hastings. He's following me. Thank you for being in the chat room. Go have a great Thursday, everybody. And I'll be talking to you soon on Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports.